Lifestyles, a show designed to help everyday Australians create a lifestyle that inspires them using property development strategies. On the show, you'll hear from everyday people changing their lives doing property development. You'll learn from their successes as well as some of the challenges they faced along the way. We'll also talk to experts from a range of fields who share specialised techniques you can use to accelerate your property journey. I'm your host, Amanda McEwin, and I'm a founder of Rising Star Developer, and I'm really passionate about helping everyday Australians build lifestyles using property development. Hello there. Welcome to the very first podcast for 2023. I hope you've had some time over the Christmas break to rest, relax, and rejuvenate from what was a crazy 2022, and also had time to reflect upon the year that was and time to reevaluate what you want for the year ahead. I know I've certainly loved the time that I've had and really excited about kickstarting into the year ahead. So today's podcast is focused on an amazingly easy way to kickstart 2023. And what I normally do is I actually do my planning in November for the year ahead. So a lot of people don't, but I find that that's a really great way to get the plan for the year ahead out of my head so that I can go into the Christmas break without spending too much headspace thinking about the next year. But I also find what it means is when I know what I want and what I want to do, then it means when I get back from my break, I can just jump straight into executing and making the most of the year ahead. But I appreciate that not everyone is as organised as I am. So perhaps this year, have a think about setting up your planning for November, and I'll do a workshop later on this year to help you do that. But we want to make sure that we're making the most of the 2023. So if you haven't got yourself all ready to go for the year, that's okay. Better off to start late than never. So what I want to do is give you a few tips and tricks to really help you kickstart your year ahead. So I'm going to run through three main tips here. So first tip is knowing what you want. So life's busy, right? And what I find happens if we don't actually spend some time thinking about what we want, what's important to us, then what happens is we then get directed by other people's goals and agendas. Whereas when you're really clear about what you want and what's important to you and have a really good think about that, then it means that you'll start making decisions that's going to help you get to where you want to get to, rather than being just floating along and being directed by other people's agendas. So the very first way is to really spend some time thinking about what it is you want. And what I do is when I'm doing my planning in November, the first thing that I do is I use a tool called the Wheel of Life, and I've put a downloadable in this podcast, so you feel free to download that, because I think that's going to be a really good guide, and it's something that I do every single year to help you work out what it is that you want. So the Wheel of Life is a concept where it breaks up the components of your life into 8, it can be 6 or 8 segments, depending on really what is important to you. And a great way to start is, I've got some guidelines there about what the different quadrants would be, but I break it into categories such as relationships, finances, business, personal growth, spiritual, health, whatever it is. It can be whatever it is important to you, but generally there's 5 to 8 main things in our lives that are important, right? And then a good way to start is to do a circle, break up the quadrants, write each of the categories on that little quadrant, segment, shall I say, and then put little markers on there, and from 1 to 10, and then go and mark where you are right now. And it's a really interesting exercise, because when you do that, what happens is you quickly work out what is actually lacking in your life or you're not as strong, and not necessarily lacking, but you're not doing as well in. So say, for example, your business might be sitting around a 7 and your health might be a 5 or, 4 because you've let life get in the way and you haven't focused on your health. Your relationships might be 6 or whatever it is. It's all going to be really unique to you. But when you go and actually mark all of those components onto this, onto the circle, you then get a really, really clear vision about where you're at balance-wise in your life. And what tends to happen is we all tend to focus on the things that are easy for us and the things that we're more comfortable doing. And the parts that are less comfortable for us are the things we tend to park to one side. So by doing that, by doing the Wheel of Life exercise, what that means is then we can look at where we perhaps need to focus some energies. So that's what I do and that helps me. If you don't know what you want, that actually really helps you look at your life in its entirety, because you may be smashing it in business, right? But your health sucks and your relationships aren't strong. So when you look at the end of your year, you might go, okay, well, yeah, I smashed my financial goals, but my relationship with my family or my, your significant other sucks, or I'm really unhealthy, you've been sick all the year. Doesn't matter how much success you've got in your business. If your health is sacrificed and your relationship sacrificed, you're going to get to the end of the year and think, hang on a second, this wasn't such a great year. So this is where I think the Wheel of Life exercise is so, so important to helping us work out what we want, by just giving us a snapshot as to where we currently are. And then once we've done that exercise, we can then look at each of those segments and go, okay, so what is it that I actually want? So in health, what is it do I want? So for me personally, it's about having energy to be able to do the things that I want to do. And so to have that energy, I know that I need to move my body every day. I need to sleep well, feed myself with food that's going to give me energy, so nutritious food, and rest and drink water and things like that. So and if I do all those things and manage stress levels, of course, so if I do all those things, then I know my health is going to be well. I'm going to have the energy to do what I want to do. And then relationships, I know that, you may want to think, okay, what is it that you want out of your relationships? Do you want to feel more connected? Do you want to you need to have more time with your kids, or not necessarily more time, but more presence with your kids and your significant other, or whatever it is, depending on your dynamic in your life. What do you need to do to make you feel like you can increase that 6 up to an 8 or whatever? And then what I tend to do is put sort of 3 to 5 points in each of those different segments. And as you work through that, and same in business, what is it you want to achieve in business? Is it growth? If it's in property, is it to do your first deal? Is it to buy, to do development and keep an investment property? Is it to bank money? Whatever it is. So by working through those segments and the Wheel of Life, if you don't know what you want, then that also really helps you pick out 3 to 5 key things that you need to do to be able to get the 5 up to an 8 or a 7 or whatever it is, and get it more balanced as well, so that when you get to the end of the year, you're going to feel a lot more content and feel like you've actually achieved a lot more by having all of those key elements of your life in balance. So that's certainly a key task that I do in February, and I look at that probably once a quarter and just make sure that I'm on track. So if you know what you want, then awesome, make a note of those. But it's really good to be able to consider what you want into the different components of your life, because I think what happens is quite often we end up focusing on our energies either all on health or all on money or all on relationships, but we also want a balance of all of those. So download the Wheel of Life checklist that I've put in this podcast and just work through that. And I hope you get a lot of value out of it. I think it's an amazing exercise that we all should be doing that would actually really help us make the most out of our year ahead. So number 1 is knowing what you want, and a tool like the Wheel of Life will really help you be able to narrow down what it is that you want out of each of those components of your life. Now, the second step to kickstart your year is, once you know what you want, is to make a plan. So once you've worked through the Wheel of Life exercise, and once you've worked out your 3 to 5 things, and it doesn't have to take a long time. You can sit down half an hour, and not go through that exercise, or you can ponder it over a couple of days, whichever the best way works for you and your mind and the way you like to complete tasks. But once we know what we want, then it's about making a plan. So if we look at those 3 to 5 key points in those segments within the Wheel of Life, then once we actually know that, then we can make a plan about how we're going to achieve that. So say, for example, it's in health. We might go, okay, I want to get a bit fitter, right? That might be, getting fitter, sleeping better, and say eating better. That might be the 3 things for health. And so if feeling better is one of your key things, that's what you know what you want, then what do you need to do to actually help you achieve that? And it's about making a plan. So it might be, okay, I'm going to move 3 times a week. And for sleeping, it might be, okay, I want to get better rest. It might be, okay, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. And you'll have days where, you don't always go to bed at 10 o'clock, but by having a plan, you know that you can always default back to that. And say, for example, in your segment around business or money, it might be, okay, I want to do a deal. I want to find a deal this year, a development deal that's going to help me bank $150,000. So that's, what you want. Next step is, okay, so how am I going to get there? And that's where we look at that and go, okay, well, if I want to do a deal, but I've never done one, how am I going to do that? Well, perhaps I might need to learn about how to do that. And then once I know how to do that, then I might go and look for deals, 10 deals a week. So if you get a feel what I mean. So once we actually know what we want, then it's making a plan about how we're going to actually execute all those. And you may have the skills for executing some of those the things that you want, and there's other areas where you may not, and that's where it's always good to go out and seek support from people who have achieved what you want to achieve and then help you get to where you want to get to. And that's something that I do in my life. I've always done it. So at the moment I've invested in myself to just be able to improve business and streamline things and online marketing and things like that. They're things that are helping me to be able to grow my businesses. So I go out and find someone who's doing that, and someone that I connect with, similar values, and is successful as well. And then I learned that, and that helps me to be able to then achieve what it is that I want. So they're just examples about how to make a plan. So firstly, knowing what you want, and then secondly, making a plan. Now, the third easy way to kickstart 2023 is once you know what you want, which was our first tip. Secondly was making our plan. And then the third thing is executing. So it's all well and good knowing what we want, and it's all well and good having a plan. But if we don't show up and actually execute on that plan, then we're going to get to the end of 2023 and go, oh, hang on a second, I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve. So this is really, really key. All the best plans in the world mean nothing if you don't get up there and execute. And look, we're all busy, right? Life gets in the way, and there's always challenges and curveballs and family and commitments, and we always feel that we have not enough time. But being consistent is really, really key to helping us execute. And if you look at any successful people around you, more often than not, they're not necessarily smarter than you. Some may not be. They're not necessarily, some may have more skills than you, some may not. But one of the key traits that underpins any successful person is their ability to be consistent and take action and to execute. So I just want you to bear that in mind when you're thinking about, if you have something that comes up, a curveball in life, and you get off track for a few days, a week, or a month. It happens. Try not to beat yourself up about that. Get yourself back on track, because you spent the time working out, knowing what you want. You spent the time making a plan to help you realize, help you realize what it is that you want. And then the third thing is being consistent and executing. So there's a lot of tools that we can really help support the kickstarting of what we've just covered. But they're the three criteria to helping you kickstart your year, and also getting you to the end of the year where you can actually look back and go, awesome, I've actually made the most this year, and have you feeling like you've made the most out of the year as well. So the three very easy ways to kickstart 2023 is, firstly, knowing what you want. I've attached the Wheel of Life tool there. That's a really useful exercise that I hope will help you nut it out what it is that's really important to you, so that you can be in the driver's seat of your life. Second thing is making a plan. Once we know what we want, just make a plan on each of those little components that we've highlighted, each of those segments as part of the Wheel of Life. And then once we know what it is we want, we have a plan for it, then it's showing up and executing that plan. And part of executing is being consistent, whether that's blocking out time in your diary, making sure that what it is that's important to you, they become the first tasks in your day. So before we open our inboxes and start getting distracted by other people's agendas, we look at what our plan is, remind ourselves what it is, what do we want, and then doing the 3 to 5 things a week is going to help us make progress towards our goals and achieving what it is that we want. So I hope this podcast has given you some food for thought about how you can kickstart your 2023. And I'd love to know, certainly within the Rising Star community, we've got if you're not part of the developer tribe inside Facebook or on Instagram as well, the Rising Star Developer, also my YouTube channel, connect on those channels there, and I have so much more information that can really help you kickstart your 2023, and we can engage in those platforms. But I really hope you've pulled something away from this podcast that's going to help you make the most of the year ahead. And I cannot wait to hopefully get a chance to connect either via a future event, or inside the tribe, or inside the inner circle if you become one of my students. And I really look forward to be able to giving you some more tools and tricks to help you kickstart your year and make the most of the year ahead. So bye for now. Thanks for your time, and feel free to share this to anybody that you they may find some value in this podcast. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening. This is Building Lifestyles, a show designed to help everyday Australians create a lifestyle that inspires them using property development strategies. This podcast was produced by the Rising Star Developer. We've been helping Australians realise their financial and lifestyle goals since 2020. And we play a pivotal role in educating, supporting and celebrating the goals and successes of our students. To find out how we can help you realise your property, wealth and lifestyle goals, head to our website www.risingstardeveloper.com.au. To make sure you don't miss an episode of Building Lifestyles, be sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, leave us a 5-star review, as it really helps others find the show. I'm Amanda McEwin, and we'll be back next episode with more tips to help you build your lifestyle.